Hello and welcome to my review of A Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley. When I bought this book originally, it's purely because this front cover is fantastic. What would I say about the story contained within the pages of the cover though? One word, I guess, enchanting. I think that sums it up quite nicely. So I won't give too much away about the plot, but essentially Faniel, the main protagonist, receives a pocket watch mysteriously, and this watch ends up saving his life from an explosion. So he seeks out a watchmaker, Kitamura, to find out what's going on and find out the mysteries behind this watch. And as it transpires, the sort of mystique behind this watchmaker character. Meanwhile, you've also got Grace Callow, who's sort of a scientific-minded character, who's performing an experiment to prove the existence of luminiferous ether before she's forced to get married by her parents and live the life of a nice housewife. So this book sort of reminded me of Wind Up Bird Chronicles and by Haruki Murakami, and The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, in which it's sort of focused on the interactions between various characters, as well as this sort of magic realism elements and the mystique behind memories and foretellings. There might be better books to compare it to, but those are the books that sort of sprung to mind. I'd say that it's not really a plot-focused book so much as a character-based book. And you sort of start out with Faniel, who's a very passive protagonist. He's just going on along his average life. And you sort of see him be pulled around by these two forces, Murray, the watchmaker, and Grace Callow, the logician, I guess. And gradually, Faniel sort of comes out of his shell and becomes his own character, and you see his musical prowess. But throughout the book, it's sort of hinted, is he operating from his own free will, or is he sort of just another clockwork invention by a watchmaker? Not literally, but whether he's being manipulated by Kitamura. Kitamura is sort of the crux of the novel, what everything revolves around, sorry. And I keep waxing lyrical about his mystery, but I think deep down, beyond the puzzle, he's sort of just a sad old eccentric man who's a bit lonely. And you sort of really feel sorry for his character, and you root him for the watchmaker. And, even when he's a bit irritable or acting a bit bizarre. And it makes it difficult as a reader, I think, when you're getting these doubts as to whether Murray's a malevolent force or whether he's just a eccentric, funny old man. And you're still rooting for the watchmaker and think he's the main page-turning force behind the novel. Who is this character? Grace Callow is sort of the opposing force of Murray. She's sort of more intellectual and logical, whereas Murray's sort of fantastical. And she's sort of pulling Faniel away from Murray, and it's sort of determined by Faniel whether he goes with Grace or stays with the watchmaker. And there's also a clockwork octopus too, which is always good. So the setting is set in Victorian London, and there's a bit of background in Japan. I guess it could be described as clockwork punk, magic realism, historical fiction, and there's a bit of slow burning relationships, which again, it's sort of the driving force behind the novel, the relationships between these three characters. The writing, it's very easy to read, quite straightforward. There's some beautiful prose in it. I can't find an example off the top of my head. There was occasionally parts of the dialogue or discourse where I get lost and have to reread it to get a grasp on what's going on. But other than that, it's fine to read, and as I said, it's enchanting. I think that the novel probably won't be for everybody, but if you sort of like magic realism and just like being strung along for, to find out about these mysterious characters, then, definitely buy it. I really enjoyed it, and I'll probably be keeping an eye out by more books from this author. So thank you for watching, and have a good day.